Welcome to the Double Dribble Podcast with Dubin and Dakhil on the RealGM Network. That's Jared Dubin, author of the newsletter Last Night in Basketball. Make sure you're a subscriber. He's going to make you smarter, and now is the perfect time to be a subscriber as we're in the playoffs. So you're going to get a lot of good stuff in your inbox. I'm a subscriber. I read Jared's stuff all the time, and that is a big thing because I talk to him all the time too. So I'm always picking up stuff that I'm reading because he's not telling me this stuff in text messages, Jared. But make sure you're a subscriber. You're going to get a lot of good stuff and fun stuff from him. Going to make you a smarter basketball fan. I'm Mo Dakhil, former video coordinator with the Clippers, Spurs, Team Australia. I do videos for Offside. Make sure you download our app. Check us out there. That's where I do a lot of breakdowns. You can find me on NBA TV as I'm a contributor there. And I'm on various podcasts because people seem to like to have me around, Jared, and I kind of appreciate that. Jared, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I like having you around too. And it's a great time of year, playoff basketball, best time of year if you ask me.
It is the best time of basketball. Like, this is the fun stuff now. This is, after 82 games, we finally get here. We're where we want to be. We're going to have the good times. And we're just going to talk about the games in chronological order. And let's just kind of keep it simple there because it is very easy for everything to blur at once. So many games, 8 games in 2 days. It's a lot. We're recording on Sunday night, which means it's super late where Jared is. I'm an old man, so it's 9 and I'm already tired and ready for bed. So we got kind of all of that stuff going. But Jared, let's start with the very first game, which was Toronto Raptors taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it was interesting because the game started out, really the first quarter, I was like, wow. Like, Toronto came prepared, came ready to play. And I was like, is Cleveland really going to do this right off the rip? Like, are we really going to have that be an issue right off the bat? Jared, what was your thoughts just on the first quarter alone? And then we can kind of go into the whole game.
I had some similar thoughts, but then I remembered, oh yeah, this is just Scotty Barnes made 3 threes and Jamal Shed made a 3 also. And it's like that's kind of propping up what we're seeing here. But the Cavs starting game 1 of a playoff series slow, much like the Raptors starting game 1 of a playoff series slow when they were one of the top seeds in the East for a while, it's kind of like an annual tradition. So I was not necessarily surprised to see that first quarter was a little bit more competitive than we might have thought.
Yeah, and let's just be honest. The Cavs took the lead at the end of the quarter, had a 4-point lead, and then really just ran away with it the rest of the game, right? Like, Donovan Mitchell was absolutely phenomenal. James Harden was great. You got big stuff, Max Strus coming off the bench and just kind of like after base, I don't know how many games he played this year, but it was single digits. It had to have been. It felt like. And
I'm pretty sure he played 18 games, if I'm remembering.
Oh, wow.
So 14 games?
So more than I even thought. But basically almost sat out the whole year and comes in and has just a phenomenal performance off the bench for the Cavs. They absolutely kill it. And I just got to ask you, I guess, my question to you is if you're Toronto and you're walking out of this 126-113 loss, and it didn't feel that close. It didn't feel like a 13-point game, right? Like, you're walking out of that game. What are you doing? What are you looking at? Obviously, the questions of quickly if he's going to be healthy or not. It's day-to-day with the hamstring, so who knows? But what adjustments do you see or can foresee for them? Or, and this is something we're probably going to say a lot on this episode, and everybody should brace themselves. Or are they drawing dead? Are they just dead in the water right now?
Yeah, are they drawing dead is definitely going to be a theme of this episode that we're going to talk about several different times. And I'm sure I'm going to say several different times that, yeah, they probably are drawing dead. I think if you're Toronto, you really have to hope that quickly changes things offensively. After that first burst where they were hitting a bunch. They did shoot 48% from 3, though. But, you shoot 52% from the field, 48% from 3, and you lose the game going away despite, outscoring the Cavs, I think, by 8 or 10 or whatever it was in the fourth quarter. You still lose by double digits. You get 3 for 4 from 3 from Scotty, 5 for 6 from 3 from Shed, 3 for 6 from 3 from RJ Barrett. Like, you're not going to get that every game, even if you bring Quickly back and he hits a couple 3 threes, something along those lines. Like, and your offense was, let's see, it was a 114 offensive rating still, despite that, because he had 17 turnovers. So, but I mean, for me, the bigger issue was the defense. They gave up 127 points per 100 possessions, and that is really, really, really bad news, because that means that the Cavs were able to get basically whatever they want. You know, you mentioned that Mitchell was phenomenal. Harden was phenomenal, particularly in the first half with the pick and roll stuff. Like, every time that Jared Allen or Evan Mobley set him a screen, it was an easy basket, for whether it was for the big man or for Harden getting into the paint for a floater. I know Harden didn't shoot that well from 2-point range. What was he from on twos? He was 4 of 11 on twos, but it felt like all 4 of them were easy floaters in the middle of the lane. Max Strus, like you said, got going. Like, it just didn't seem like the Raptors had answers, and it feels like you have to change the matchups so that Scotty Barnes is on one of Mitchell or Harden, but that leaves you shorthanded inside, and you might give up stuff on the offensive glass. Like, it just doesn't feel like there are any good answers other than hoping Quickly changes the math on offense, and then if you jumble up the matchups, maybe try a little bit more stuff than you did defensively against Harden and Mitchell, like mix up the coverages a little bit more, that you hope that throws them off a little bit, but it doesn't feel like that's enough.
So I think I don't think they can change the matchups. I think they're in a tough spot with the way they're set up. And putting Scotty, like, it would be great if they could put Scotty Barnes on one of Harden or Mitchell. And you probably keep Jamal Shed on the other guy. So RJ's got to guard Mobley. And I don't think that's going to work. Like, that's going to put you in a bad spot. And I think that's your biggest challenge. My biggest adjustment for them, and I don't normally do, definitely not after game ones, like when we talk in the past of like adjustments and things like that, what I would do. This wouldn't be normally be my first one, but just watching the way the game went, I think I start calling Murray Boyles over Pirtle to start the game. Get a little more athleticism, get a little bit more speed. I know I'm giving up some height in that area, and that might hurt me when we get to in terms of rebounding. And I'm not saying it like, you know, Murray Boyles was absolutely amazing. He was a minus 14 on the floor. But I'm trying to just shake something up here, because I don't think the starting lineup, even if you replace Shed with Quickly, which also becomes a major problem for you defensively as well. But even if you do, like, there's a level of like, just be faster than them. Just try to outrun them now. Like, just be faster and more athletic, and put your best 5 out there that could do that for you. I think to start the game might be the first area where I would look. I mean, he played 20 minutes. Pirtle played 21 minutes. Like, Jakob didn't look that great. I think it's an important thing to kind of take a look at. I think that might be the first place I start, because I don't think the matchups are going to make a difference.
Yeah, in that area, getting them out on the break is where, like, Quickly's the most important guy for that. But you do lose the on-ball defense that you have with Shed out there, because Quickly is just smaller and slighter, and he's more of like a off-ball team defense guy anyway. Both Harden and Mitchell are probably too strong for him.
Right.
As far as Murray Boyles goes, I can see it, but the big thing you need from the front court is probably size and physicality, and that's where Pirtle comes in. But if he's not going to dominate the glass, and he didn't in this game, he only had 6 rebounds, none offensive, then what is he really doing for you out there? Like, it might be like a Mamu series and try to get like the burliness out there and hope that he can help you on the boards.
Yeah, I mean, Mamu, not the craziest idea either. 8 rebounds, 3 offensive, can knock down the 3 ball and spread the floor a little bit as well for you and help to kind of space. Like, that's, I don't think it's a Pirtle series. It's really what I think at the end. And I think that's going to be the thing. They're going to have to kind of come to that conclusion. And down 1-0, like, there's a level of, normally we tell everybody, it's just the first game of a series. Don't need to freak out. No, I watched this one and it being the first game of the playoffs too, and immediately went like, no, Toronto might need to freak out. Like they might need to be like, yo, what we did the past week, yeah, we need to throw that out the window. We need to change our plan now and start to figure out how are we going to get going. Ingram with only 9 shots isn't going to get it done. He had 10 free throw attempts, so obviously that changes the field goal attempt numbers. You know, Scotty Barnes going 6 of 14, like it's fine. Like they were
he hit 2 threes in the first quarter too, so the rest of the game was not great.
Well, he was 0 for 1 after that from 3. So it's like, you know, it's you needed more from your stars as well. Those guys, your adjustment can't be those guys just play better. It's my favorite thing when I used to coach kids is like a coach would always yell out, rebound, rebound. I'm like, do they even know what that means? Like, have you even taught them yet? And what to do? But anyways, I think that's going to be the big thing for me. I do agree with you, and I pose it to you knowing that we both agreed already that they're probably drawing dead.
Yeah, I think so. But we both thought that coming into the series.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of like, I think just the first round in general, I think just looking at the matchups and how some of these things are playing out, I don't think the first round is going to be as sensational as it has in years past. Let me put it to you that way. Even the first we had 8 games, and none of them were close. Like, none of them went down to the last possession of a game, which is kind of odd in the first day of the playoffs. Usually you get 1 or 2 through the playoffs and things like that. That didn't really happen. And you're going to hear us again. I think the way the brackets broke, I think is going to lead to this first round being kind of like, with 1 or 2 interesting series here and there.
I think only one game was decided by single digits in the first 8 games.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. Anything else on this Raptors-Cavs game?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Obviously, it's just this was the matchup that you wanted in the first round as any of the teams in the top half of the bracket in the East, I think, just because of the way Toronto is structured, and the Cavs were the team that got it.
Yep. So we're going to move on. And we're going to go to the Western Conference. And we're going to go Minnesota-Denver, which was a series I was quite excited for. And then it happened, Jared.
Yeah.
And then the game started to play. And by the way, Minnesota was great to start. Like, was really good, pushing it, really giving it to the Nuggets, had built an early lead. And Jokic was all over the place to start this game.
Yeah. The
turnovers were bad. Like, he was just kind of out of his. We always talk about, like teams have to win the Jokic less minutes, the non-Jokic minutes.
Yeah.
Eventually, if I said it 4 or 5 times, I'd get it right. But the non-Jokic minutes, and I think the thing that was the biggest thing in this game for me was like that first stint when Jokic went to the bench, that woke up Denver. That got them going again, and they really started to kind of fly, find a rhythm and flow. And then when Jokic came back into the game, he found his rhythm and flow. What was your viewpoint of the game as you watched it?
Yeah, I remember sitting there at halftime and thinking the Nuggets lost the Jokic minutes and they're tied. That is a very good sign for them. They didn't play particularly well in the first quarter. I thought, like you said, that the non-Jokic minutes to start the second was what really got things going for them. And then into that carried over into the third quarter as well. I think they won the second and third quarters by a combined 20 points, if I'm remembering correct, by 22 points. They won the second quarter by 10 and the third quarter by 12, and that basically decided the game. Obviously, Jokic, despite I think he had 4 turnovers in the first half, 5 for the game, but just a metronome, 25, 13, 11. Jamal Murray just gets to the line a zillion times. I know that the Wolves were complaining about it after the game, but just stop fouling him. That's kind of where I come down on it. We're going to talk about the refs again later, I'm sure, in the Oklahoma City game, even though they won by a zillion points because Shea went to the line a bunch of times. Just stop fouling. That's what I have to say about the refs, and that's basically what I'm going to say about the refs in every game. But the bigger thing to me was just that Anthony Edwards didn't look healthy. We were texting about it during the game. I was like, why is this guy only going left? It was like he couldn't push off to get to his right side, which you would think is the opposite because it was his right knee that had the soreness, but it didn't seem like he trusted that he could put his weight on his right side while driving in that direction, and he was just going left every single time. He did make a few nice moves going to his left. He had a step back three over Jamal Murray. He had a drive to get to the rim, but there was like one time that he went right during the game, and he got all the way to the rim and finished there. But other than that, he was just going left the entire game. He didn't look like he was comfortable out there. And I know he said after the game that it wasn't because he wasn't healthy, but it was because he was rusty, because he had only played 3 of the last 12 or 13 games of the season or whatever it was. I did not think that he looked healthy out there. I thought Julius Randle looked uncomfortable out there. I thought Rudy Gobert looked really good for most of the game, but had 2 horrendous behind the back dribble handoffs, one of which didn't result in a turnover because I can't remember if it was Edwards or McDaniels got to the ball, but then the other one was a turnover that essentially put the game away, stretched the lead from 7-9. Like, Rudy, you're not that guy. Okay,
I'm not gonna give Rudy that hard of a time because this was only a relatively close game because of him. He actually was playing his best basketball he was the best player for the Wolves in this game, in game 1, which is a problem, right? Because it needs to be Ant. And I think, those turnovers were atrocious. Like or near turnover, and then that turnover itself was just, and he's been doing the dribble handoff behind the back pass thing like quite a bit, I'd say, over the past few weeks. And it's like, dude, no, don't do this. Please don't do this. It's like, that's not, like, you're not Steph. And, like, no, just stop. It was obviously a critical mistake. But I want to go back to Ant. Like, Ant saying he wasn't health. It's not about health. It was rust. There was a stretch in the third quarter where Ant took a shot at, like, the 7:37-minute mark, and then didn't take a shot again for the longest time, and wasn't involved in the offense. Like, if you go back and watch, there's a possession where, like, Ant brings the ball up the court, hits Dante DiVincenzo, and DiVincenzo dribbles for a while and takes a bad shot. Same thing with Jaden McDaniels doing the same thing. And it's like, when you watch those possessions, and where is Cat during that possession? He's like at the hash mark. Like, he's not even involved in the offense. And it's like, to me, that's my sign of, like, yo, his knee's not right. There wasn't a lot of explosion. There wasn't a lot of him looking to get burst. He had it here and there, but it wasn't what we're used to from Ant. And that's a major concern for this team, because the only way they're going to give the Nuggets a series is if Ant can really stretch them and punish them. Because, like, here's the scary part. The Nuggets shot like shit. They're not going to shoot that badly again, right? 10 and 36 from 3 for 27%. 43% from the field. Jamal Murray, 7 of 22. 0 for 8 from 3. That's not going to happen. Jokic, 2 for 7 from 3. That might happen again. He's not been shooting it all that well.
Yeah.
But,
they didn't shoot well. Like,
it was a surprise. I mean, it was nice to get the win, but they didn't even play at their level yet. And so that's the scary thing for me with Minnesota. And it's going to come down to Ant's knee and how healthy it is when he goes into game 2.
Yeah, there need to be stretches where he's the best player on the floor, and there were 0 stretches of that in game 1. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, by the way, which I should have brought it up the first time because I'm nothing if not predictable. Fantastic Bruce Brown game. Like,
yes.
Fantastic.
It was a great Bruce Brown game. Like, he's part of that lineup that got them back into the rhythm and the flow.
Yeah, he had 5 steals.
He's perfect for this team. It's sad that he left. And granted, it's not sad, actually. He got paid. I got paid nicely. It's a happy story that he's returned. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see, again, how this goes. But for me with the Nuggets, like, they're going to have a better game in game 2 just by default. Jokic isn't going to have 3 turnovers in the first quarter. Like, it's going to find itself in the way that they're going to play. And again, they're still going to get Peyton Watson back at some point, I got to believe. And that just makes them deeper and stronger at that point.
Yeah, I will say there was one Gobert possession where he poked the ball away from Jokic 3 times on the same possession to get the steal. I can't remember who finished on the fast break after that. Maybe it was Io, but just unreal.
He had a couple possessions where he stood up Jokic. The one you're talking about, I think, was in the first quarter. Like, he had a strong, like, he defended Jokic about as well as you could defend Jokic, you know, for the most part. And that's saying something, because Jokic was like 9 of 12 from, or 9 of 11 from inside the arc. It was his problems were outside the 3-point line. That was a problem for him, you know, where he struggled shooting wise. But, I mean, it's going to be a tough series, man. Like, I just don't know how else they can kind of play. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say the magic phrase, so I'm not going to, because we're going to probably say it again.
Yeah, I don't think we're there unless Edwards is just really not healthy and can't do athletically what he needs to be able to do.
Is there anything you would change game plan wise if you're Minnesota?
I don't think so. I think you just got to execute better. You got to play better. Like, and you need Edwards to look better than he did. You need Randall to not look as lost as he did for a lot of the game, particularly in the fourth quarter, because it was a close game at one point in the fourth quarter. The lead got down to 2 points, and then Jokic had back-to-back baskets. So it's not like it was a blowout. You know, they were there at a certain point, but they got out-executed down the stretch, which is not that unusual for a Timberwolves team.
Yeah, and I think Finch played all the right cards. Like, I don't think there was nothing he did that I looked at going like, mistake, or like, I wouldn't have done that, or like, I don't think that's the right way to go about. I think it comes down to, and this is the hardest thing in the playoffs, even though I literally made a drastic change in the previous series. It's almost hard as a staff to overreact to the first game, because sometimes it comes down to what you said. You just didn't execute the game plan. As a coach, I don't know if the game plan doesn't work because you didn't execute it. So I don't know if I should make an adjustment yet. If you execute it and we get killed, then I know I have to make an adjustment and it's on us. But if you don't execute it, that's a problem. And I think that's the thing they're going to have to figure out. I don't think there's anything I would really change too much from Minnesota with what they put out there. Any other final thoughts here?
No, I think that's about it on that one. Shout out Mike Conley, who had a nice steal at one point and hit a 3.
We've gone to that. That's where we're at now with Mike Conley. That we have to give it a shout out for the steal and 3 play that he knocks it. Like, yeah, we're at that point. This might be time to.
Yeah, it's not like they have more cards. Like, they tried Bones for a few minutes. He went 0 for 3, didn't hit his one attempt from 3. They tried Kyle Anderson for a few minutes. That didn't do all that much. Like, Naz Reid only got, I think, 17 minutes, but it's not like he was killing it out there either. Like, maybe you go more Naz minutes if Randall is struggling again. But I think that really hurts you defensively. So, yeah.
It's hard, too, because Randall's struggles, though, came mostly, I feel like, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he goes, like, you're actually, that's not true. He was pretty rough all throughout the whole game. Now that I'm again, this is all kind of coming back to me a little bit as the games
You watch
going.
8 games in 2 days. Like, it's a lot.
You get kind of lost. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to recollect our thoughts, and we're going to come back, and we're going to finish up the Saturday games here in just a moment. So be right back. And we're back, folks. See, that's how that works. That's the podcast magic, as I like to say. And we're going to go to, it was a pretty fun game. Atlanta, New York. New York wins 113-102. Pretty interesting game, and it kind of talks about a little bit, sort of like what we talked about in the preview. Atlanta's in such a difficult matchup with how they're going to match up with Cat. And I think that becomes a big problem. And just the size disadvantage, again, showed itself. They just could not guard Cat down the stretch of this game. Brunson was awesome to start the game, and then Cat kind of closed it, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson goes for, 19 in the first quarter. He was literally unstoppable. He had flames shooting out of his hand. It was ridiculous. I mean, the big thing for me, though, beyond Brunson early and Towns late, was the Knicks defense in the fourth quarter. Like, they kept talking about it during the game. The Knicks have been the best fourth quarter team in the league and the best fourth quarter defense in the league this year. And with the exception of the stretch where the Hawks went on a quick 11-0 run when they pushed the lead up to 19 to cut it down to 8.
I mean, how is it a Knicks playoff game if we don't have the Knicks do something like that? Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah. With the exception of that minute and a half, their defense was unfucking believable in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think the way they and it went even when Cat went out and Mitchell Robinson came in, it felt like they didn't really miss a beat defensively. Cat was so engaged defensively. It was pretty impressive with the way they kind of went about things. When I look at it for Atlanta, it just becomes such a problem. We know most teams want to play a wing on Cat and put a Kongwu on, or their center on Hart, which would be a Kongwu.
Right.
But they're putting CJ on Hart, which I get it. But that really puts you in a difficult spot in terms of your matchups the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And CJ gave you 26, 11 to 20 from the field. 4 of 9, he was pretty solid in his role and the way he was playing. But man, it really does hurt you defensively.
It does, and I don't know what you do with it because I'm not sure where else you put CJ. They had him very briefly on Bridges early in the game, and Bridges dropped that turnaround fadeaway right over the top of him and was like, well, that can't happen anymore. Bridges, by the way, fantastic defensive game. He had the few baskets early in the first quarter, and I think he only scored, 11 points?
He had 11 for the game.
Correctly?
Yeah, 11 for the game.
He had 3 baskets in the first quarter, and then he had a couple later in the game. But fantastic performance defensively on Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Held him to 6 of 17 shooting. He was on him for most of those shots. I thought his defense away from the ball, particularly chasing Nickeil around screens, was really good. But to go back to your point defensively, the matchups, I'm not sure what you can do, especially because if you want to put a wing on Towns, it's probably got to be Jalen Johnson, and he just has so much responsibility offensively that and he's got to deal with either Hart or OG. They were guarding him with Hart for the most part, so that they could have OG on Okongwu and Towns on Dyson Daniels and Hyde Brunson on CJ, which led to a lot of the CJ threes because there were some miscommunications there between those guys. But it's really tough to get to the kind of matchups you want because you have to hide CJ, and because if you want to guard Towns with a wing, it probably has to be Johnson, unless you want to guard him with Daniels, but then Daniels isn't on Brunson, and that puts Nickeil on Brunson, and he's got to do a lot offensively too, and then you're juggling around all the matchups. It's just really tough.
So a couple of things here. First off, putting Daniels on Brunson probably doesn't matter. If Brunson had the first quarter that he had, maybe you do need to make that change just for Daniels' sake. But the other side of it too, I hear you with Johnson and Alexander Walker have so much on their plates. I don't want to hear that shit at the end of the day though. This is the playoffs. This is when you got to do it. You have to you got to dig deep. If you're not going to win this way with this matchup, you're just not.
Let me ask you this though: where are you putting CJ? Are you putting him on Bridges or OG?
I'm going to put him on Bridges. I'm going to live with it. I'm not going to freak out when Bridges hits 3 shots in the first quarter and goes and has a really good first quarter. I'm not going to freak out and overreact in that regard. And maybe that's what Quinn did. Maybe he didn't freak out or so much. He just didn't like the look. But I think I am just going to put him on Bridges and then start working my way through all this. I would, in the same way I'm being tough on Johnson and Nickeil about you got an offensive responsibility, so you shouldn't have to have a tough matchup defensively. Well, I'm looking at CJ going bro, we need you to freaking defend. We need you to play defense. At the end of the day, we need. I don't expect you to be great at it. I don't expect you to be a stopper or be even that good at it. But I need the effort here. We're going to put you on Bridges. You need to put your best effort into it. And CJ will respond to that. And I don't think, because just the way it's currently set up, you can't win that way. And they're really screwed when they go to the bench. The guy I feel most bad for is Mo Gay. And not just because he's my namesake Mo, but like he is not supposed to guard Cat.
No,
he's
180 pounds.
Yeah, like he's a wing. Like it's not like, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna put you on Cat, and he's like, wait, what?
By the way, I feel could be big trouble because Okongwu was questionable for game 2 with right knee inflammation, or I think it was right knee inflammation, something with his knee. So yeah,
I mean, so it's like they just have no size off the bench.
They're already without Jock Landale.
Yeah, I mean, like they're in bad shape with that. So so all the more reason. And of course, if Okongwu can't play, they're pretty much cooked. But like, I think the situation that you got to look for is how do you kind of get the most out of the guys? And like, yeah, you're going to tire these dudes out, but that's what happens when you're the 7th seed. Right? Oh no, they were the 6th seed. Excuse me, they weren't the 6th seed. I'm just so used to the Hawks being a play-in team that's their sort of situation. But that's what happens, right? Like when you're the 6th seed, you're the underdog in this. Like, yeah, the cards are stacked against you. You have to go hard and find a way. Like I at the end of the day, they're just in a big trouble with their matchups, and their roster kind of sort of set them up to fail here. They just don't have the size.
No, I think we should mention, by the way, Josh Hart was really, really good. 14 rebounds. Did a really good job on Jalen Johnson, I thought. 3 steals, 5 assists, double-double. Like, he didn't hit his only 3, but he got inside. He got them out on the break. He had one of his classic left-to-right Euro step finishes in transition. Just a really good game from him, too.
And to be honest, like, all the starters for the Knicks were great. They all played their role pretty well, like in the way they kind of played it, from OG to Hart, Cat, Bridges, Brunson. Like we've mentioned them all, like they were all pretty solid. Like I like with where they're at. The other thing too, I want to just go back to it. If I'm the Hawks, whenever Jordan Clarkson's in the game, there should be no offensive possession of mine that does not attack him.
Clarkson actually defended pretty well in this game.
But they didn't go at him. It was him attacking, like it was him getting deflections on the weak side or coming up with a steal on that end or in that vein. Like he didn't really guard one-on-one. They didn't put him in a bunch of actions. I would like put him in more actions and let's see where it ends up, because I think that's a lot of times he's on the floor with Miles McBride and they're going at McBride. I'm like, that's the wrong guy. All right. That's, I think, enough for the Hawks Knicks, unless there's something else you want to touch on.
No, I think I'm good there.
Okay. Let's go to the next game. We're heading back west. And right before the start of this game, we get a notification from Shams. Oh, by the way, Kevin Durant has a right knee contusion. He will not be playing in this Rockets game against the Lakers in game 1, which prompted me to just tweet right away. Okay, this is a must-win for LA right now. Like, I know you're at home. I know it's game 1. There are no must-wins in game 1s, and I'm throwing all my rules out. That was a must-win game for the Lakers. And, I mean, they pulled it off. Like, it was pretty impressive. Not impressive, but it was pretty just like, let's go to work. Let's get this done. Give the Rockets credit. They kept it close for as long as they could. And man, who would have thought, man? It wasn't Luka. It was Luke Kennard going completely ballistic. 27 points, 5 of 5 from 3. Like, he was, at some point, the Rockets will guard him. I don't know at what point in the series, but at some point they'll defend him.
You would think. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum from you, where I think it was impressive from the Lakers, and I was not particularly impressed that the Rockets kept it close. Like, I don't care that Kevin Durant is out. They have Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves both out. You got to go win that game. Like, their offense was hideous the entire game, and it's not like the Lakers are some great defensive team that should be able to hold you down. Like, you shoot 38% from the field, 33% from 3, 106 offensive rating. Like,
I mean, but Jared,
it's inexcusable. And that was despite having 21 offensive rebounds.
But Jared, they were a bad offensive team with Kevin Durant on the floor.
Yeah, but like, they were not a good defensive team. But by the way, DeAndre Ayton, really good defensive performance.
I know.
I can't believe it.
I know. It was pretty. I was pretty impressed with how he kind of gave it to Şengün. But also part of that plays into it. Like, you don't have to be a good defensive team against the Rockets. You just got to be able to pack the paint and just show bodies in the paint. Let them shoot from three. Like, who are the 3-point shooters you got to worry about when KD's out? Right? It's Reed Shepherd
and like
Jabari Smith.
Jabari.
Like two. And like every now and then Eason's going to hit. Okay, cool. Like, I'll live with that, right? Like, it's in that vein, like, there's no space whatsoever for Şengün. I don't think this is a particularly great team for Şengün, but, like, I think the way it was set up, like, they had no chance offensively, and it had to come down to their defense against the Lakers. And I'm going to be honest, man, I was so disappointed in Amen Thompson's defense in this game. It just looked like he was not interested. He not fighting over screens. Kennard's getting an easy look at three, an easy three. There's a dribble handoff situation where he completely gets disconnected from Kennard and then goes under the screen. And he drills it. There was one where they kind of ran like not almost like a picket fence thing, and he makes no effort to try to get around. Like, he doesn't realize it, and then Kennard pops out and gets a clean three, and it's like, he looks shocked. Like, it was a pretty disappointing performance from. If they were going to win this game, they needed to get more stops on the Lakers. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, Lakers scored like in that way, but like it needed to be a defensive win more than an offensive win, because I just didn't think they were going to have the offense.
No, it definitely needed to be a defensive win. And, to their credit, they did force 18 turnovers, and they dominated on the glass. But, the Lakers come out and shoot 61% from the field. They made everything inside the paint. Like, they were just giving up easy basket after easy basket inside. Some of them were just because LeBron had, like, these seeing eye passes to basically everybody. He had one, the behind the back to Ayton under the rim, that didn't result in the basket. Oh, my God. And he had a couple of other, like, no-look feeds to Ayton in the middle of the paint. One to Rui, maybe? I'm trying to go through my notes at the same time that we're talking. But, yeah, I mean, the passing from it, 8 assists in the first quarter, his most ever in a playoff quarter, 10 in the first half, 13 for the game. What more can you say about that guy, Yeah,
at 41, like, it's amazing. Right, like in the way that he played and put up great numbers. Like, I think all of that stuff was impressive. It just, like, I was just disappointed in the Rockets defensively. Like, even with
disappointed in them on both sides of the ball. Like, I don't care how bad your offense is. You have to be able to score against this Lakers team.
But that's why I look at, like, for me, I guess my expectations of their offense is so low. And let's, like, just remember, in between quarter, I think like they combined for 37 or something like that between the second and third quarter. Like it's just like there is just no offense. Like, it's been a problem all year, right? And this is the problem they had last year, and last year they at least had Van Vliet on the floor, right? It's like this is just it was pretty disappointing.
Had 4 or 5 turnovers, and every time he had a turnover, Ime looked so pissed that he had to keep him out there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you tried actually like coaching him and developing him through the course of the season, you'd have been in a little bit of a better situation, Ime, but you didn't really do that. You were really hesitant to give this guy minutes. I just think in general, this is another one of those teams. If KD's not coming, if KD's not playing like game 2, they're drawing dead. Because I just don't think they have enough offensively. Nothing on offense is going to scare you. Like, nothing they're going to do on offense is really going to scare you.
No, probably not.
It's a bit disheartening. What do you say we do one more game before we take another break? Unless you have more notes, Lakers, Rockets notes.
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. So we're going to fly over to Sunday, and we're going to go, and we could be quick with this one. Philadelphia versus Boston. And Jared, I'm just going to say it from the beginning because we said it in the preview too. This Philly team is drawing dead.
Yeah, Philly's drawn dead. No Embiid. Like, they have a bunch of guys that they can throw at Maxey. You can throw Derek White at him. You can throw Jordan Walsh at him. You can throw Jaylen Brown at him. You can throw Peyton Pritchard at him. Like, there are a bunch of different things that you could try to do to slow him down. Bona and Drummond picking up 2 fouls each right at the start of the game, and then all of a sudden you have nobody to play in the middle of the defense. You're throwing Dominic Barlow out there. The most important thing about this game, though, I mean, I am just in awe of Jason Tatum. Like, I cannot believe that this is happening right now. Like, less than a year since his Achilles injury, and he was unbelievable in this game. Like, so good. Like, you would not be able, like, not only would you not be able to tell that he tore his Achilles, it was one of his better playoff games that I've seen him play, healthy or not. He was fantastic. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and his defense was the best part about what he was doing out there. Like, he was phenomenal. I'm in awe sitting here, or I was in awe sitting here earlier today watching him play. Just a privilege.
It was pretty impressive. No, it was really impressive. But the thing, too, was just like Boston's defense as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Was so suffocating. Like, every time guys drove, for anybody, for Philly, every time they had a driving lane, it closed up in a second. There was a possession where I think it was Paul George. He's looking to drive. He has Brown on his left, like on his hip. He sees Tatum coming to rotate to help. He tries to toss the ball over to the weak side. It gets deflected by Brown. White gets the steal, and it hits Tatum in transition, and Tatum gets the dunk. Like, it was over and over again. It was things like that defensively with everything that they had. And then, like you said, Tatum was just pretty much flawless in the way he played, especially to me on the offensive end. There were things like, he has one where he's coming off the screen. Barlow's, trying to give a flat show, and he leaves just a little bit of space. And boom, it's a quick cross from Tatum right down the lane for a dunk. Like, it was just so many different things that he had. This looked like the Tatum of old. You'd have never guessed he had the Achilles tear. And like you said, man, like, it's beyond impressive. And he still shot like shit from 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, there's still more to come. Because that number is going to come up and rise up. But I just thought altogether, like, they have so much in terms of what they could throw at you. For a team like Philly, like, this would be different if they had Embiid. If they had Embiid, they could at least slow it down. Let's get in the post. With Embiid, you can count on 20 and 10. Like, you're gonna get some battles here. He's gonna get you to the free throw line. He's gonna make Cato work. He's gonna make Vooch work. You're gonna have to come double him at some point. And then it's the kickouts and rotations. But without him, it's a real problem for them. Because it's just, they can guard everybody else. And I think that's the ultimate problem for them. And that's why coming into the series, we're like, yeah, they're probably drawing dead.
Yeah. Another one, you mentioned the play where Kata sort of split the trap on the pick and roll. Later in the game, Drummond jumped out a little bit higher to try to prevent that, and Tatum just hit him with an in-and-out dribble instead and got all the way to the basket. That was absolutely filthy. Jaylen Brown in the third quarter, 7 of 9, 16 points in the third. Terrific from him. The defense, like you said, just all game, 3 bodies between anybody that was going to the basket and the rim. Like, there was another play where PG did split the trap, but then he meets, I can't remember if it was Garza or Vooch in the middle of the lane, and Shireman comes in from behind and blocks him anyway.
Right.
Like, Boston's defense was just everywhere.
They were everywhere. It felt like they had 6 guys on the floor. That's at least what it probably felt like to Philly. And I feel bad, man. Like, there's only so much Maxey's going to be able to do. VJ Edge comes in his first playoffs. Like, he's trying to figure it out. Paul George is still Paul George. Like, he's kind of more of a supporting role at this point. And as a whole, they shot 4 of 23 from 3 It's too much for that. Like there's just nothing there in the way you look at it and see it kind of shake out. Like I just don't see how I don't see any adjustment they can make other than Embiid makes a miraculous recovery from, having his appendix removed and can come out there and play.
Not just play, but play like at the highest level that you need him to play. Like he needs to play like at his MVP level, and that's completely unrealistic.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish the playoffs recap here in just a moment. And we're back, folks. 3 more games to talk about. Stick with us here. I know it wasn't the most thrilling stuff and everything. We're going to go through this next one real quickly, Jared, because I think you can agree with me on this one. OKC versus Phoenix. What an ass whooping. And I just want to say this very quickly. If you turn the ball over against OKC, just throw it out of bounds so you could set your defense. No live ball turnovers. You're trapped, you're stuck, just throw it out of bounds. Just chuck it out of bounds is your best chance to at least get a stop on the other end. Because that completely crushed the Suns in this game.
Yeah, they turned the ball over 7 times in the first 14 minutes of the game, and the Thunder had 17 points off those turnovers. They quote unquote only scored 17 more points off turnovers the rest of the game, but that would be like one of the highest points off turnovers averages in the league for an entire game. So they wound up with 19 turnovers and 34 points off turnovers, and you're just never going to win that way. Like it's not going to happen. And there were so many incredible plays. Like J-Dub had the strip on, I can't remember if it was Green or Booker at half court.
Booker.
Cason Wallace.
Oh, sorry, Green. It was Green. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Green. Cason Wallace had a play where he was chasing Devin Booker around a curl, and he gets to the pass from behind him, and then beats everybody down the court for an alley-oop. Like Chet steals a pocket pass where he was guarding the screener, and he steals he was guarding the screener and is helping on the guy curling around and steals the pocket pass anyway. Like, and Shea gets fouled right after that one. Like, there are so many different things you could say about Oklahoma City's defense. J-Dub, by the way, fantastic game on both ends of the floor. Yeah. I thought he was the best player on the court.
And then you forgot my favorite one, which is to end the half, Jay Will inbounding the ball off of a made free throw and just connecting with a long bomb to Chet Holmgren, with 2.7 seconds left, and drills the 3 to go in there. I was just like, damn, dude, like it's like I felt bad for Phoenix. This was just such a major ass whooping. It was funny. The Inside the NBA crew was on because these were ESPN games. And Chuck was saying, like, yeah, man, it's going to be a bad day for me between Philly and Phoenix. And they just took a shot of him, and he just looked so like, this is what I thought was going to happen. We're going to get our ass kicked. And then Shaq just says, yeah, there's going to be 3 more coming. 3 more beatdowns.
And Houston lost the night before, so bad day for Chuck all around.
Yeah. If Charles Barkley played on any of your teams, you took a couple of L's this weekend. It was pretty rough for you. I just don't know. Like, you have to take care of the ball if you're Phoenix. Like, and everybody knows this going up against Toronto. Like, Toronto, excuse me. Everybody knows this going up against OKC, and you just have to understand. You have to value every possession, and they're going to be in everything. And to be honest, these were great defensive plays as you described. The case on Wallace one was insane.
Oh my God!
Like that's just absurd.
I levitated in my chair when that happened.
Like what? Like okay, like that's not supposed to happen. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. I personally don't want to talk about the SGA free throws, other than I'm going to say he drives the ball a lot. Yes, sometimes he gets a friendly whistle, but when you're as aggressive a driver as he is, you do end up going to the free throw line. Like, just a fact.
Stop fouling. That's my
there we go.
On it. Stop fouling.
All right, let's go to the one game where we finally got an upset. Okay. Orlando beats Detroit 112-101 in Detroit after playing. Look, we got to talk about it this way. They lose the first game in the play-in tournament. Yeah. Absolutely knocked the socks off of the Charlotte Hornets on Friday. Like, that wasn't even a game. From the word go, it was just straight, we're going to give you the belt. And then, it was funny because, first off, all year long I've been trashing Orlando.
Both of us have.
Yeah. And then after that game, I was like, along the lines of man, they might actually match up well against Detroit. Their physicality, their physical nature, and things like that. This might be a tough series for Detroit. And lo and behold, they pull this one out. What the hell happened, man?
Jalen Suggs to start the game, I think, got them off to a really good start. Obviously, hits the pair of threes, and then he had 3 steals all in the first quarter, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe one of them was in the second quarter. Oh, yeah, one of them was in the second quarter when he poked it away from Cade from behind on the fast break. But he had two steals and a block in the first quarter was what it was. One of them he rotates over when Duren gets somebody sealed inside and blocks him from behind. He was terrific to start the game. That got them off to a really good start. I thought that whenever they were getting Paolo deep touches inside, they got really good stuff. He hit a couple of short shots that way. He hit a couple of nice cross-court passes when they were loading up to him. He had the one-handed hook pass to Carter Jr. under the basket. That was really nice. It seemed like one of those games, and we talked about this type of game a couple times this year, where the Pistons were just swimming upstream, trying to get back into the game the entire game, and the Magic just kept swatting them away and swatting them away and swatting them away. Every time the Pistons made a run to cut it back, the Pistons would push it back. Every time the Pistons made a run, the Magic would push it back up to 8 or 11 or whatever. There was one time that the Pistons briefly tied it in the third quarter. I don't think they ever led. I think they tied it at 65 in the middle of the third quarter, and the Magic quickly went on a run to stretch the lead back. And that was just how it went all game. They were trying to, like I said, swim upstream, and they just couldn't get over the top.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham with 39 points. Then,
real quickly, big struggle for him in the first half. Everything was difficult. Not so much in the second half. But that revealed he is their only guy that can create a shot.
Which is what we've been saying forever. And look, I fell into it a little bit with the Jenkins hype when with Cade out, and he really kind of carried them. Didn't have a great game himself. 1 of 7 from the field, but wasn't he had the one sick pass in transition, and that was about it. Really was
1 3 that he made was really nice too.
But I think the problem is, so Cade with 39. Your next leading scorer is Tobias Harris with 17. Nobody else.
He didn't shoot well either.
5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. Nobody else in double digits.
Really bad Jalen Duren game.
And
very disappointing.
That's the problem right there, right? And that's my most improved, so I expected better. Only 4 shot attempts.
Mine was Dakhil, and he didn't do much better.
So, but my guy was for the 1 seed and was expected to win from home. So I think it's probably a bigger deal with that. But I'm not going to panic yet. But this is definitely a thing where you're looking at it. If you're Detroit, you're like, shit, man, this isn't necessarily going to be easy. The Magic are physical as hell. Tough as hell. And to be honest, this was my favorite Orlando Magic game. I thought they actually had good understanding of their offense, of their spots, where to go. Paolo had a great game. He was doing some good stuff in the post, drawing a double, finding kickouts and finding guys. He had just smart plays altogether, was aggressive. Some of them were tough shots. But that's just who Paolo has always been. Mm-hmm. Right? And he's always been kind of a gamer in the playoffs. and
Yeah.
and he continued to be one tonight. And I kind of just like the way they attacked offensively. They set up stuff where they can get Franz in a post-up position against Cade, and Franz can go to work. There was that stretch beginning of the fourth quarter where Franz was just awesome. Mm-hmm. He had one shot that I thought was incredibly lucky where he thought he was going to get a foul call and threw it up. But beyond that, like, he had some smart plays the way he moved. Desmond Bane, early foul trouble, but in general was okay. It's the Magic. They're never going to shoot well. I don't care if you're Steph Curry.
But Bane was the one guy that shot well for them throughout the year, and he was 7 of 20 from the field and 1 of 8 from 3. But yeah. I thought they moved the ball really well. Everybody in the starting lineup had at least 4 assists. There was a play in the second half where De Silva got a 3, and I can't remember who it was that slipped the roll into.
No, it was Wendell Carter Jr. It was a short roll. Right, yeah. And then on the weak side, Tobias Harris actually is a step late, as De Silva's guys rotate. He's a step late when the pass is going. Like, he kind of hesitates for a second, and then runs over, and De Silva gets a clean look and knocks that down. I mean, all in all, like, I just thought the way they kind of attacked this game, like, as mean and critical as I've been on the Magic, as we've both been all year, like, this is the Magic team I thought we were getting.
Yes. There was another play, too, where I think you pointed this one out on the socials, where Paolo whipped like a cross-court pass to Suggs in the corner, and LeVert is Xing out and Robinson is not, and it gets a wing 3 for Anthony Black off the extra pass from Suggs. Like, that kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally see from Detroit happened a couple of times in this one too.
And this was a game, I hate doing this, but this was a game where it looked like JB Bickerstaff was caught in headlights, like a deer caught in headlights. A little bit.
Yeah, and that's like not that unusual for a Bickerstaff team in the playoffs, honestly. Like,
it's becoming a
tend to overachieve their talent level in the regular season because they work really hard, play really hard. They don't shoot a lot of threes. Their opponent does shoot a lot of threes. They don't shoot particularly well, and then they get into the playoffs and those things get magnified.
And it was just kind of like, all right, first off, this is Jamal Mosley's first road playoff win.
The Pistons haven't won a home playoff game, they said, since 2008. Was that?
Yeah, yeah, because I remember that last year. So, like, they had those 3 games last year and never won one.
The Knicks.
Yeah, so it's just like, I think the number is like 11 in a row now. Like, and granted, to be fair to them, they didn't make the playoffs a lot during that run of 2008 to now for them to have a chance. But that's a shocking number.
Yeah.
A shocking number. So, I guess my question to you is, if you're Detroit, what do you feel, if any, do you need to adjust? Or is your adjustment like, yo, Jalen, play better?
I think it's mostly the play better adjustment, to be honest with you. I don't know that there's much schematically that you're going to change. It's not like they were getting torched by something that the Magic were doing. Maybe you do something about those early, deep Paolo post-ups. Figure out a way to combat those, but Duran's got to be better. Your guys that are like Tobias has to shoot better. Duncan Robinson can maybe get more shots off. Asar has to be better. Like, you didn't get anything from your bench guys at all.
I mean, I hate the answer is play better. I think with some of these like post-ups with Paolo, it's mix up the coverages, come early, sometimes front and things like that, and try to show him different looks into how he's going and keep that kind of going. The other thing, too, was I just thought they got out-hustled on a lot of plays. Suggs was on the ground a bunch, diving for balls and things like that. Like, I felt like there were things where they just weren't as Detroit basketball aggressive in that way.
Emergency.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting for them to not have that, where I'm like, you guys haven't really proven anything.
And that's been their thing all year was we're going to out-muscle you, we're going to outwork you every inch of the floor every single night, and that wasn't the case in this one. What do you think, by the way, about the idea of maybe putting a SAR on Paolo?
I think you do. I think I'm open to all of this. I am good. I mean, maybe a little bit worried about the weight distribution in that area and Paolo won't. But like Asar's athletic enough, I think might be enough to cause problems. Make it hard to just even enter the ball in the post to Paolo, right? Like just with his athleticism can kind of make it more difficult. I think that's a good place to start there. So where would you put in? So tell me who's matching up with who?
I think I might go Asar on Paolo, Cade on Bane, and Tobias on Franz.
Right. That's probably about where I'd go.
But then you have like Duncan Robinson on Suggs.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of places where you can hide Suggs. I mean, you can hide Robinson.
I think he was on Suggs for a bunch of the time anyway.
Yeah. So I think you're kind of just like stuck in that sort of vein. I don't know if you want to get like crazy, probably too quick, but I don't know if you want to try Duran on Paolo and get really crazy, but that might be we're down 0-3. Let's throw everything against the wall here type situation. Or we're down, 1-2 and go nuts here. But I think like there might be something there. I'll give you one guy off the bench for the Pistons who I thought was really good. I thought Isaiah Stewart played a really good game in the limited role that he had. He didn't score a bunch. The block on Paolo when Paolo tried to go dunk all over him. And then led to a transition play. Like, to me, I was like, okay, that should be the turning point. Like, that should be okay, wake up, guys, let's go. And it didn't lead to anything, And then there was another one where the Pistons were, like, all the momentum was going the Magic's way. Everything, it felt like, again, the Magic were about to pull away. And I think it was Franz driving down the lane. And he makes another big block, kicks it out to Jenkins. Jenkins gets fouled, goes to the free throw line. Fortunately, goes 1 or 2 from the line. But I think, like, there were moments where, like, I felt like he provided his job and gave them, should have gotten, like, an emotional rise out of the team of, like, yeah, let's go. Especially that block on Paolo, even early in the game. And it just didn't come. But I thought Stewart played really well off the bench. Like, I was kind of like, Cade was awesome in the second half, but like he was probably the second best Piston in this game.
It's a low bar.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's just going to be – they just got to play better at the end of the day, and I think they need to figure out – I would tweak my adjustments on Paolo. If it's not so much even matchups, I would just mix up my coverages and see if I can keep him guessing.
Yeah.
If you can slow it down where Paolo has to stop and think a little bit more, and this isn't an insult to Paolo, but if he has to read more, it will be more difficult for them to get going.
You have to make those touches come farther away from the basket than than he was getting them. And that way you can decide when and where to send your help.
It's going to be an interesting series. I think this one's going to be a tough series. I forget what
coming in like everything Orlando does, the Pistons do the same but better. And I was like, all right, the Pistons can physically dominate the series because that's what they do better than anybody, even better than the Magic do. And the Magic came out and out-physicaled them and out-hustled them in this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a big shocker for me. Obviously, they have to throw everything at them. They cannot go to Orlando down 0-2.
No.
Because this team is young. They will not be ready to handle that pressure of you're the number 1 seed. You're down 0-2 to this Orlando Magic team that everybody has been crapping on all season and has been one of the biggest disappointments. You cannot, this game is so big for Detroit. And to just break that freaking winless streak record at home. You got to get that W. All right, let's go to the last game of the night. And I'm not going to lie, it was a blowout, but it is so much fun watching Victor Wembanyama play basketball.
It's like a religious experience.
I I mean, it's like I don't know what else to say. Like, what was I? We'll talk about the game, but just he had a few moments in this one. What was like your favorite Victor moment?
I think it was the fadeaway three in the corner, and then the cut
Yes!
to Robinson and Duncan in the crowd, like cackling to themselves.
Like, what are you supposed to do? It wasn't like, what are you supposed to do? Like, dude. And it wasn't even like, I was like, oh, he's going to hand, I think it was like Vassell on the sideline with him. It was like, oh, he's going to hand off to Vassell. Oh, no, he's going like straight face.
Yeah.
Like,
There was another three in the second half where he was just kind of playing with the ball and going nowhere.
Against Robert Williams.
Yeah. And then it just like casually steps back and drops it over the top. Like, okay.
Yeah, I posted that one going like, yo, honestly, there's nothing you can do. There was nothing else you could. If you're Robert Williams, there was not. The Time Lord did not matter to him. It was just simply nothing you could do in that one. And then that's not even still probably the most amazing play out of all those. He had a play. First off, Denny was driving. He rotates over, doesn't get the block, but forces the miss. Gets the rebound, starts dribbling up the court. Denny tries to get it from him, goes behind the back, brings it up the court, cross, spins off Advia, and then goes into the lane. I don't know if he dunked it or finished it with the layup, but I just was just like, I'm watching it just laughing. It was even funnier. There was definitely, I think it was the Robert Williams shot, when he hits the shot over the Time Lord. Reggie Miller on the broadcast just starts laughing. Like, you just can't, like, at a certain point, it's just like, God damn, dude. Like, he's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and they had a couple of the lobs to him, too. Obviously, one from Castle, a couple from Fox. Like, they were talking before at the start of the game, you can't let him get behind you ever defensively. And they let him get behind them several times, and they just got easy lobs out of it.
Yeah, and so the Spurs take the game 111-98. Like, credit to Portland. They kind of would make it a little bit close. Kind of like not threatened, but like ready to, within striking distance of striking distance.
They were well within striking distance at one point. They got it down to, I think it was 70-68. They had 3 consecutive possessions where they had a chance to tie or take the lead. Turned it over on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Then Champagny comes down and hits a 3. Then Portland turns it over again. And then San Antonio scores again. And all of a sudden, instead of tying or take the lead on 3 straight possessions, they're down by 7. And that was pretty much the end of it.
It was too much in the way they played. And, like, listen, Denny gave everything he had. 12 of 21 from the field, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Drew 11 assists, shot poorly. Some of his shot selection, my God, dude. Drew, you got to kind of like figure this thing out. Like, we also spent way too much time talking about the dental floss he likes to have in his mouth in this game. That was like, there were like weird things there. But this was the typical Portland game. I have some friends that are Blazers fans, and we're in a group chat, and it's like, one of them goes like, we got to stop, chucking up threes. I'm like, that's what you guys do. You chuck up threes and can't make them. And that's exactly what happened in this game. Shot 38 threes, made 10. That's 26%. The thing for the Spurs I thought was big, they kept Advia off the line a lot. Only 6 free throws for him. I think that's a big, big key point for them throughout the course of this series. Is going to be keeping Denny off the line.
Yeah, I mean, but a big part of that obviously is that you got a 7'6" guy standing in the middle of the lane. Makes it much more difficult to get all the way to the rim as opposed to, the middle of the paint.
Yes. Yeah, having an alien there does kind of sort of...
And even having Cornette back there makes it difficult.
They were good. I mean, they're just good. Like, off the bench, he came in, was solid. He had a couple of lobs. He had one that he barely caught with his fingertips and finished it. I wonder if you're Portland... So they started out with Kamara on Wemby and Klingon on Castle. I don't think that worked that well. I don't know if that's something I'd go back to because let's just be honest. They put Klingon on Wemby. They put Williams on Wemby. That didn't stop him either. But I also think like Castle got pretty confident against Klingon and got downhill, I think, a little bit more than Portland would have liked.
They also laid way off him on one of the first possessions of the game, and he hit a three. And then all of a sudden they were like a little bit closer to him, and that obviously helps him get going downhill.
Yeah. And I think also if you're going to start out going like, hey, we don't think you can shoot from three, you can't panic when they make their first one.
Right.
Like you can't, like you have to live with that. This is what we're going to live with.
Klingon and Kamara were like way off. Like they were here in New York guarding that pick and roll.
It was pretty interesting with like just kind of like trying to figure out what Portland's going to do next is really where I'm curious to see how they handle it going forward. And I just don't know. I'm not going to use the phrase because I don't think they are. I still think this will be a pretty tough series. This is a tough team. Like they fight, they battle. And I'm not ready to just be like, all right, they're cooked. There's nothing they can do. They got to get more from Jeremy Grant. All right? Like he was kind of quiet. Scoot I thought was really good.
Scoot was good, man. He had a couple of really nice shots in the second half trying to get the Blazers back into it.
But like Drew's got to be better. Grant's got to be better. You know, and you got to figure out a way to just slow down Wemby. Wemby, 13 of 21, 5 of 6 from 3. Like, yeah, he may not go 5 of 6 from 3. But there were a couple of those threes. I think the first or second one was one of those where Klingon was way off of him. Mm-hmm. And it was a dare three. And he just, okay, and knocks it down. And I think you just kind of got to figure out.
Don't dare him.
No, you can't. You can't. He takes offense to it. It becomes a problem for you. He gets offended, all too much with that. I want to go a little bit away from the playoff series and talk because the Blazers owner is in the news. Buddy of the podcast, Sean Hyken. Make sure you subscribe to his newsletter, the Rose Garden
Report.
Rose Garden Report. Make sure you subscribe to that. Him, Bill Orm, I think even Jake Fisher have been like dropping a lot of stories where it really does sound like the new owner is very, very frugal, shall we say.
Yeah, not sending the two-way guys on the trip to San Antonio. They are not buying T-shirts for the fans, like you saw the Fiesta out in San Antonio tonight. The Blazers are not going to have T-shirts.
The Fiesta out, awesome. They executed that perfectly. It looked great on TV. Well
Except
done,
for the
Spurs.
One guy in the pink section that was wearing the orange shirt that they showed behind Zora Stevenson at one point.
He's like, I ain't wearing no pink. And it was funny that Zora was wearing pink, so she blended right into the pink section.
Yeah.
That scares me if I'm any team. And the stuff that we're hearing, too, it's not just that. It's not willing to pay for a head coach. Right. Like, and it's like, and my thing is like, okay, if you're going to be cheap on the head coach, that means you're going to screw over the assistant coaches. So that means you're not going to have great assistant coaches because it costs. You're going to screw over the support staff. If you're going to penny pinch where we're not going to give T-shirts out for 2 games that we might host.
You're not going to send the two-way guys to the playoffs?
I've never heard that. Not sending the play-in guys to the playoffs to be a cost-saving measure, I have never, ever heard that. I've just, like, that to me was just like, when I saw that, I was like, to be honest, Jared, I was like, we're probably not going to talk about that tonight. Then I saw that story, and I'm like, I'm talking about that tonight. Because that's what set me off. Like, all of these, like, stories, I'm worried. I'm worried for Blazers fans. Because this is a fun team, young team. Like, this is really disappointing. And the amount of money he's going to make off the play-in gate, which it's not revenue share. That strictly goes to the team and the ownership. You couldn't do the small things. You don't want to pay for an NBA head coach? Cool. You're not going to get a good coach then.
Right.
Like, and by the way, cool. You're not going to send two-way guys? Those guys have agents. those agents have other clients. They're going to remember that. And when you want to sign one of their clients, they're going to be like, yeah, but you remember you wouldn't send it. Like, how do I know? And I'm not talking two-way, guys. Agents will be like, hey, like, we're not going to send you there. Draft
they don't
workouts.
Treat guys right is what it's going to be. They don't treat guys right. Do you really want to sign there?
And that's going to be a massive problem. Draft workouts. Just getting guys you want to take a look at, getting ready for the draft. Good luck with that. Like, that's a massive, massive problem. And something that, like, oof, I keep seeing that, like, they get worse and worse, the reports, you know, and I'm just like, man, this is just going to be brutal. Like, I already feel for Portland fans because they don't deserve this. You have a fun team. They rally behind their team. I like when Portland's good. It's fun. Next year, we're going to have the feel-good story, knock on wood, of Dame Lillard's return to Portland. Like, come on, dude. Just buy the fans freaking T-shirts. Just
buy the T-shirts. Send the support staff. Send the two-way guys. It's not that hard. It doesn't cost that much, all things considered.
Honestly, dude, you're paying for 2 hotel rooms. You're not even paying for paid plane tickets. 2 hotel rooms and per diem. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? This is ridiculous. It's an embarrassing. And I hope the other owners start shaming him. They won't, because it's a great advantage for them. A cheap owner is a good advantage for them. But, like, yeah. All right, now I'm rambling because it's late and I'm already tired. And you got to be more tired than me because it's later where you are. So I think that's going to do it. Thank you, folks, so much for listening to the Double Dribble podcast. Have yourselves a good night.
See y'all.